It's been a while since we've done recommendations. Let's do some recommendations. Hi. Welcome to the Listener's Guide. I'm Steve, and last time that I made a recommendations video, many of you sent in even more requests, and who am I to refuse that? User Abigail R84 asked for something similar to the Borodin String Quartet No. 2. Now, Borodin was a Russian composer and was in fact a member of the Mighty Five, or the Mighty Handful depending on how it's translated, which included Balakarev, Huey, Mussorgsky, Rimsky-Korsakov, and of course Borodin. This was sort of a think tank of composers in the mid-1800s who were deciding what it meant to be a Russian composer and what kind of sounds and effects and styles that they wanted to use. And so if you like Borodin, then you should probably check out the other four. In particular, I'd recommend the Rimsky-Korsakov String Quartet in F major, which is so similar that it's often included on albums of the Borodin String Quartet. They both have very nostalgic, folk-like Russian, rustic, pastoral feels, and they make you feel very content when you listen to them. Similarly, you might want to look into the Tchaikovsky String Quartet in D. Now, I know it's weird to include Tchaikovsky on a list with the Mighty Handful because he was writing in Russia at about the same time, but was known for leaning more toward the Western European style, and so they really hated him. But that was 150 years ago. Who am I to hold up a 150-year-old grudge? It's a great piece and should definitely be included on the list. Now, moving on, user Emerald Maria has asked for something similar to Beethoven Symphony No. 7, Movement No. 2, which is a sort of funeral march-like theme and variations. This symphony was premiered in 1817 at the very beginning of what many people consider to be Beethoven's late period, which is when his music started to turn sort of deep and dark, and you can definitely hear that in this movement. It very much reminds me of a funeral processional, which is why the first thing that I thought of was actually the first movement of the Mozart Requiem. Now, of course, this may just be because I love Requiem masses, but it's definitely a good piece and something if you like that kind of brooding, dark feel. Mozart's Requiem Mass is a great way to go. Now, unlike Mozart, Robert Schumann was an incredibly troubled composer, much in the same way that Beethoven was. He suffered from mental illness, he suffered from sexually transmitted disease, he faced a lot of death and loss in his life, and that really came out in his music. He was particularly known for having incredibly compulsive compositional habits, meaning that he would choose a genre to write and write tons and tons of music in that genre, and then typically leave it behind forever. So in the year 1841, around the time his life was really taking a turn for the worse, he was writing symphonies. His Symphony No. 4 in D minor is a particularly dark one, especially the second movement, which is typically the slow movement of the piece. It has a lot of the dark, brooding, funeral procession-like feel that Beethoven's second movement does as well. So if that's what you're in the mood for, definitely head over there. Finally, user The Jagged Pharaoh has asked for pieces similar to Eric Whitacre's Alleluia. Now, Eric Whitacre is an incredibly famous, still living and working composer who is rather fresh on the scene. In fact, when I was a freshman in high school, he was still so unknown that our band was able to arrange and perform his concert piece Godzilla Eats Las Vegas for the measly fee of $100. Now, of course, he's mostly known as a choral composer, and you may have even heard of him for his work on YouTube. A few years ago, he created the virtual choir in which he asked users to submit webcam video of them singing their part in his Lux Orumque, which he compiled together to create a huge virtual choir that he conducted. If you like his style, then you may enjoy that of an even fresher composer, Ola Yelo. This composer is so new that I can't even find a Creative Commons photo that I can use in this video to show you what he looks like. Yelo's Pulchra S is very much in the same vein as Eric Whitacre's Alleluia, and the album that it appears on, Northern Lights, is a fantastic listen all the way through. I highly recommend it. It's a great example of the kinds of things that are going on in Western art music in America right now, and the kinds of things that I hope will bring your average Joes back into the concert hall. Finally, you may also like Arvo Pärt's Seven Magnificat Antiphons. Pärt has been on the scene since the 1970s and one of the forerunners of the minimalist movement, writing what I think is probably some of its most beautiful music. He put a really strong focus on sacred choral music, and I have loved everything that I've heard so far. And of course, last time I gave you recommendations, some of you took to the comments to give me recommendations as well, so I thought I'd share a few. Now, Strings and Pedals, you're right about how wonderful that piece is. I hadn't actually heard it before, and since attending a few harp recitals at university, I've been looking for good impressionist harp music. This one definitely fit the bill, so thank you. Jared Williams, I totally agree. The Saint-Saens Organ Symphony is a delight. There's something really special about an organ playing with an orchestra that fills out the sound without getting too in your face. I love it. Finally, to my friend Ivan, this is really a fantastic piece as well. It's not like the Brahms Saint-Saens and Fauré that I had on the list, but it's a great listen nonetheless, and I had never heard it before, so thank you. If you're interested in checking out any of the recommendations I gave, please check the Sublime list in the description and leave in the comments if you have any other requests or recommendations to give. Please remember to like, favorite, and share this video, and if you want to be informed every time there's a new listener's guide for you to watch,